Hello, and welcome to the This Happened Today in History podcast for February 11th. I am your host, Mr. Miller. This podcast will cover a number of topics that happened on this date in history. Please visit the podcast webpage at thishappenedtoday.buzzsprout.com to download the This Happened Today in History worksheet. This worksheet will help you organize the information as well as develop your own ideas on how these events changed the world around us. If you are interested in hearing more, please consider subscribing so you will not miss out on what happens tomorrow in history. Our first topic today happened in 1937. A flood of the Ohio River caused damage in 9 states from Pennsylvania all the way down to Illinois. As a result, 460 lives were lost and 1.6 million people were left homeless. The cause of this flood was intense rainfall that started at the beginning of January in 1937. By the end of the month, records had been set up and down the Ohio River, and almost every state recorded drowning deaths. The only state to avoid these was Indiana, as they rushed to evacuate as many people as possible as the river was rising. The flooding was so extensive and devastating to the states along the river that it forced the creation of flood control measures that have cut down on flood damage in the decades since. In 1970, Japan launched Oshumi, its first satellite, and once it had made a complete revolution around the Earth, the achievement made Japan the world's 4th space power, after the Soviet Union, the United States, and France. The name Oshumi came from the name of the peninsula where the rocket was launched. According to the University of Tokyo webpage, the launch was also notable in that it was one of the few cases in the world in which a satellite was successfully developed for non-military purposes as part of academic research conducted by a university institute. Oshumi continuously circled the Earth for 33 years after being released into orbit, and it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere on August 2nd of 2003, thereby completing its mission. As satellites and other junk in low Earth orbit are pulled back towards Earth, most, if not all, of the satellite burns away as it enters the atmosphere. Finally, in 2006, what has become known as the blizzard of 2006 started on the evening of February 11th. Heavy snow fell across the northeastern United States from Virginia to Maine through the evening of the 12th. Its last falls were in eastern Canada on the 13th. Cities from Baltimore to Boston received at least a foot of snow, and 26.9 inches was recorded in New York City. This was the heaviest snow recorded since around 1869 when records began. You have been listening to the This Happened Today in History podcast for February 11th. I thank you for listening, and I hope that you have enjoyed learning about historical events from the past. Thank you to the following websites for their information regarding today's topics: thepeoplehistory.com, the University of Tokyo. The music used as the background track for this podcast is Americana, created by Kevin MacLeod on Incompetech.com. If you enjoyed this information and would like to hear more, please consider subscribing, as this will keep the historical events in your feed in the morning for each day. I hope you have a great day.